Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we've got a special guest coming on the show. We've got Damon from Charli3 coming on to talk to us about some recent events that have happened with the Nomad bridge hack, sort of shed some light on the whole situation, and give us a kind of update from Charli3's point of view of how this has affected the project and what we're looking to do moving forward. So thanks a lot for coming on, Damon.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. I think it's important to give this more information on as many avenues as possible so people can understand what's happened.
No, for sure, and thank you very much for coming on again. Shall we start maybe right at the start and sort of talk about what happened with the Nomad bridge hack, and what happened from the sort of Charli3 side of things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just right off the bat, I just want to say that the project itself, our side, was not affected because we had already dropped support for the ERC20 side, basically. So we weren't holding any of those. We had already dropped all of our tokens on that side. So there was no problems there. But what happened was we were using Nomad Bridge to get ERC20 to Cardano native token, the CNT. And the Ethereum side got hacked. So when people used the bridge prior to this point, they would put in a certain amount of Ethereum tokens and then get doled out the equivalent Cardano native token, but the Ethereum tokens were technically still held in a contract in the Ether, which we thought was completely secure. So did Nomad, and this was the problem, that somebody got a hold of those and then dumped them all back onto the market. So so yeah, the big thing on there is we decided as a team to not honor any of those tokens purchased from people that thought, oh, this is a great opportunity. The price dropped like crazy. One, don't do that. If something drops 98% in 3 seconds, maybe there's something up. We should have learned from Luna by now. And nobody really checked on it. And people tried buying, and we're not honoring those tokens for a transfer later, because if we did, it would actually end up increasing the total supply of Charli3, because those tokens were meant to be completely gone from circulation. So there's a whole article on it on our Twitter page if you want to go check it out. But that's kind of how it affected us. There's no effect to the actual project or our company at all. It was really just time spent with PR.
Yeah, and it's an important thing to really reiterate during this video is just the fact that Charli3 as a project has not been affected by this whatsoever. The total supply hasn't been affected. The issue really was on the Ethereum side of things and the ERC20 side of things. And what you were saying was absolutely spot on about the fact that people were essentially getting hands on those locked up tokens and dumping them onto the market. For people that bought because they saw a really cheap opportunity, it wasn't an opportunity, and it was a fundamental flaw that had essentially been capitalized on. And it's unfortunate for anybody that thought that, but that would cause huge issues on the other side of things and damage everything to honor that. What
Yeah.
about very quickly people who may not have already converted their ERC20 tokens over to the Cardano side of things before the hack had taken place?
Yeah, so we're taking a snapshot, basically a post-emptive snapshot of all the holders, and so the wallets that held and how much they held at the time, like right before that hack happened, which I think was 1921 Eastern on the first.
To be specific.
So yes, to be specific. So that was the first when the first transaction happened from those stolen tokens. So everything held prior to that point will be had as a snapshot. We'll create some sort of a manual bridge later that we're going to individually do the transactions. Like you give us your wallet addresses, we double check it against basically the snapshot, and then dole out the same on your Cardano address. We'll figure that one out later. So we'll have a manual bridging solution where you can input your Ethereum side and your Cardano side. We'll check it against the snapshot. And if you still hold those tokens, if you didn't try to accidentally get rid of them out of fear of the market, they will be honored. But anything past that hack point will not be honored. We can't do that to the holders. We find it's going to be an unethical decision to increase the max supply and reduce the the value of those tokens permanently over a long period of time. Kind of like what just happened on, Harmony and stuff, was increasing supply. So we really don't want to do that. And so that's our situation. But yeah, if you held before, you still got them in your wallet, just keep holding them. Don't move them at all. Don't try and put them on the market. Your value is not what's read on CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap is now reading the Cardano value, and you can see that out of the listed places. It's Sunday Swap and Min Swap. They're taking the prices from. So don't try and go to Uniswap and think, oh, your tokens have that value again. They don't. I think the ERC20 side, after we put out our announcement that we're not going to be honoring anything past that point, the last users on there just removed all their liquidity, which is exactly what we wanted. And the price is like 0.0005 of a cent or something. So
don't sell on the Ethereum side of things. No, that's brilliant. Because I think people were worried that potentially they weren't going to be able to, people that were loyal holders that had bought, there is a solution there, providing that you held on to them, providing that you weren't obviously a hacker and took advantage of that exploit. You will be honored on the Cardano side of things, which is absolutely fantastic. And the total supply is still the same. The project is still very much underway, ticking along nicely. It's just unfortunate that this has happened, and unfortunately, some people will have got burnt by this, but this is the kind of inherent nature of being such a new and innovative space. These things happen, and I want to just make a quick point on Nomad. Nomad, for all intensive purposes before this, were a very trusted or deemed trusted and secure, audited. You had the likes of Coin that were invested in them. You had some really big players invested in these into the Nomad bridge, and I think had actually just before this got done with a huge funding round, so to the tune of 4 million or so. So this was really an unseen thing, and not only were Cardano projects that were looking to merge over from Ethereum affected, there was lots of other blockchains like Moonbeam and a number of others that were affected. So this was not just a Cardano specific thing. The good news is there's a solution here. The project hasn't been affected, and there is resolve in regards to people who hold ERC20 tokens being able to get them over to Cardano.
Yeah, it'll just be a bit, because we're very focused on bringing out our product right now. The Vasil Hardfork for Cardano is coming up. It should enable a lot of DeFi, and those people are very reliant on our Oracle working. So we have to focus on that. Sorry, it'll be a while before we get around to bridging those, but yeah, your tokens are safe.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I think a lot of people will be very happy to hear that. The next thing, maybe, the Vasil Hardfork has obviously been knocked back and delayed slightly. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to get it. I know when the proposal submitted, there's going to be a 4-week period, so it may be the end of this month. I think it's more likely going to look at September.
Yeah, I would probably say somewhere around the September mark, just from how development is currently going.
Yep.
But again, it's better to keep everything safe than not. We don't want repeats of these types of events happening, and the chain just dying for no reason. So we're totally fine with it. A lot of other projects aren't ready anyway, and wouldn't have been even if it was early. So it's fine. And on our side, we have really big stuff happening, like implementing all the new Vasil features, and our next update that we'll have technical wise, we've been kind of quiet, will be a full robust Oracle working 5-point node aggregation model with some of the reference UTXO inputs and consumption. So it's full on Vasil, full on Oracle, nothing cheap, nothing simple.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting.
It's Vasil season, I'm very excited for Vasil myself. I think we're going to see this real DeFi explosion, and Charli3 is going to be a key part of that. It's going to be one of the leading oracles, if not the leading oracle on Cardano.
There is us right now, so
yeah, that's going to service everything kind of taking place, and like I say, Vasil's really going to see this kind of flourishing ecosystem evolve, and it's going to be great for somebody. Me and yourself have obviously followed Cardano for a long period of time. It's going to be really nice to see the fruits of a very long labor. Cardano's always had this ethos that they take a sort of slow and steady approach. We all know the story of the hare and the tortoise. Tortoise is getting close to the finish line now, I think.
Yeah, it's a very, very slow tortoise, but
Yeah.
we're getting there. I mean, only slow in terms of crypto, really. It's not slow in terms of the real world, is how long things take. But yeah, I think, I mean, just wrapping up this whole situation, you're totally right. It's just nice that the projects involved were not affected as far as our operations, and we're really still gearing up, everything full steam ahead for Vasil and the birth of Cardano real DeFi, I'll say, not just DEXs that are currently operational.
It's going to be really interesting to see.
Yep.
So have you got any final words? That's interesting about your update on the, you know, what you guys are looking at after Vasil. Have you
Yep.
got any sort of final messages? Any kind of final messages, Damon?
I think just general advice for people, stay calm. If some huge thing like this happens, always make sure to do your research first. And I always, you say it all the time, do your own research. It's everywhere, but there's a reason for that, you know. So always just try and stay calm. If something happens, read up on it, get the information yourself, educate yourself. So then it's a lot easier for you to trade. You'll lose less of your money and less of your sanity as well. So that's my main big piece of advice for people.
And sanity is very important, certainly in this market. Damon, it's always a pleasure. Really, thank you very much for your time and coming on and sort of shedding a bit of a light on the situation. Also talking about, you know, C3 as a project for the people who are invested in it, and that believe in it. And you know, that's really all we've got to say on the subject. So thank you very much for coming on. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully we'll speak soon.
Thanks very much for having me. See you later.